Why, it's a beautiful evening out there, and I hope it is cool there where you are. Events in the political arena have been moving like a fast, flowing river in the last couple of weeks. Defections, barricade of the legislative offices. In fact, it's like swimming in a fast-flowing river. Tonight, we have interesting and analytical stories on political developments, highlights of which are that the National Assembly has agreed to reconvene and the strongman of Akwa Ibom politics has moved to the ruling APC. But before we bring you these stories, we shall look at development issues, beginning with efforts by the Federal Executive Council to push for an end the polio scourge in the country. Do you know the ranking of Nigerian universities in the world? Well, we'll tell you that, plus efforts of TED Fund to improve the ranking. We have agricultural stories, business news, health, and of course, the usual sports and a bit on the foreign scene. You know, the rains are here now, so you can't afford to miss the weather forecast for Thursday, just in case you need an umbrella or a raincoat as you go out tomorrow. Well, that's the outlook. Tonight on News Extra, I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. Thank you for joining us. If you have an idea of the devastating effect of polio on child and the burden on the families of victims, you wouldn't mind any steps taken by government to eradicate the virus, and to say the least, efforts have been tremendous, given that the country has come this close to being declared polio-free. That could still be achieved soon with the approval of the Federal Executive Council for a World Bank proposed credit facility of $150 million in support of polio eradication in the country. This was one of the decisions at this Wednesday's meeting of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Jide Onifade tells us about this and other resolutions of the Council.
Memos presented by the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, at the Federal Executive Council meeting include the World Bank's $150 million credit facility in support of polio eradication.
It's what is called Phase 3 of the polio eradication project. Nigeria is en route to becoming polio-free, and we've been receiving significant support from the donor community towards this. However, there are 12 states that are seen as slightly behind in terms of our polio aspirations, and so this $150 million facility from the World Bank, which has an interest rate of 1.25%, a moratorium of 5 years and a repayment period of 30 years.
She says the Nigeria Customs Service sought and got the approval of the Federal Executive Council to procure 3 units of rapid scan mobile cargo scanner Eagle at the sum of 8.047 billion naira.
The Ministry of Power Works and Housing presented the request for the approval of the award of the Akwanga Jos Bauchi Gombe Road, which was approved for the sum of 348.594 billion, a total of 420 kilometers, 420.6 kilometers. The project scope is the expansion of the current 2 single-lane highway into a dual carriageway.
Two memos to Council for approval, and got approval for both. The first is an approval to install technology monitoring schemes and structures in PEF, under PEF, for a total sum of about 17 billion. It is for the automated fuel management system and sensor network, and first time we'll be able to actually tell what do we really consume in this country.
Special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, briefed the press on some approvals of ecological projects spread across the country.
The sum of 12,104,882,000 naira was approved for 9 ecological projects in different geopolitical zones of the country. No, not 9, 12.
Special advisor was also asked if the presidency spoke with one voice in the sacking of Lawan Daura as boss of the DSS.
There's no way there won't be unanimity on that kind of decision.
In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
It is when you're hungry and food is not forthcoming to assuage the hunger that one appreciates the value and importance of food and, by extension, agriculture. So now, you should begin to appreciate government's investment in agriculture, especially food production. It is heartwarming to note that the states are keying into this federal government initiative of economic diversification through agriculture. Well, I'm not the one saying it. It is the Minister of State Agriculture, Godswill Akpabio, who is saying it, and he should know, because he has been traversing the length and breadth of the country. Lekon Agbonde tells us that the minister was in Ogun State for 2 days, inspecting federal and state agricultural projects in that state.
From the over 800 hectares rice farm project in Egua to the Metro's rice mill at Shawojo and various model farms across the state, it is evident that agriculture has the greatest potential not only to empower the people financially but also guarantee food security. The Minister of State, Agriculture and Rural Development during his tour of Ogun State reaffirmed the seriousness attached to development of agriculture by the Buhari-led administration, which informed the collaboration and assistance given the states that is now yielding results in line with the federal government policy direction of diversifying the economy.
We have a lot of equipment that we, give to states at a highly subsidized rate, and we'll be willing to give them whatever that is available to ensure that we have improved productivity.
Government, he says, will continue to put in place policies that will encourage homegrown economy, especially in the fight against the menace of smuggling.
Federal government is doing everything humanly possible, not only for rice, but also for poultry products, and also for, smuggling generally.
President Muhammadu Buhari has said that we should produce what we're going to eat and eat what we are producing. So in line with that, the Ogun State government has gone ahead to make sure we have rice for our people to eat.
The team also visited the federal airport project under construction in Wasimi in the Ewekoro local government area of the state. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NT News.
Well, cashew is an international commodity. If you didn't know that, now you know. For those engaged in its export, they know it's a huge foreign exchange earner. With this in mind, I'm imagining what Niger State in the near future will be earning as the state concludes arrangement to distribute 250,000 improved cashew seedlings. Jones Ajayi says, to this end, cashew production has been flagged off in Bida.
The initiative to promote cashew production in Niger State is a collaboration between the state government, the National Cashew Association of Nigeria Niger State Chapter, and Edusoko Farms, aimed at boosting the nation's economy through agriculture. Flagging off the 2018 planting season of cashew, Governor Abubakar Sani Bello directed the 25 local government council chairmen to provide 50 hectares of land each for cashew production. He said apart from the economic benefits of the cash crop, it also addresses environmental issues such as gully erosion and desertification.
It is a very dire situation that needs to be addressed immediately. We have already banned sales of charcoal.
Minister of State for Environment Ibrahim Usman Jibril described cashew as a cash crop that is significant that can be turned into wealth if properly harnessed. Etuyaya Abubakar, who is the chairman of Edusoko Farms, said the farm is going to supply 250,000 cashew seedlings to the Niger State government to be distributed to the 25 local governments.
Cashew seedlings that between 3 to 4 years will start fruiting.
The event also featured the conferment of cashew ambassador on Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello and Etuyaya Abubakar. In Bidda, Jones Ajayi, NTA News.
In the meantime, the federal government's diversification drive has been enhanced with the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Nigeria Incentive-Based Risk Sharing System for Agricultural Lending and a U.S.-based International Center for Tropical Agriculture. Vivian Idepefo says the agreement is to develop capacity for climate risk profiling in Nigeria.
A review of climate risk profile reports of African countries reveals that agriculture and water resource are the most affected by key climate impacts, a situation analysts say weakens the fight against poverty, food insecurity and resource depletion. The agreement between NICEL and CIAT to develop climate risk profiles for Nigeria has come at the right time. This is based on the fact that the MOU is expected to strengthen existing decision support systems in agriculture, in addition to building the capacity of stakeholders to identify and manage climate risk in agribusiness. Managing Director of NICEL, Aliu Abdulhamid, says the agreement will facilitate the development of robust response plans and programs for a climate-resilient agricultural sector.
The thing is, if we layer all our geo-co-ops, our cells, our clusters, with the climate risk profiling that we are developing with CIAT, it means that not only are we enabling our farmers to access local financing, but by putting the climate risk profile in front of every geo-cooperative, it enables us to access the global green climate fund that is available.
Understanding the climate resilient technologies that are available and matching it to the realities of these farmers is those will be part of the direct benefits to smallholder farmers.
With 90% of Nigeria's population reportedly earning a livelihood from agriculture, NICEL has facilitated funding from commercial banks for agribusinesses across the value chain worth $375 million. It has also trained more than 700,000 farmers on good agronomic practices and financial education, in addition to providing quality agricultural inputs to more than 500,000 smallholder farmers under 3 farming seasons from 2017 to 2018. In Abuja, Vivian Idepefo, NTA News.
Many thanks, Vivian. Now, when you eat food, the next best thing to do is drink water to wash it down. You know, water is life, so they say. And so the provision of potable water has been the preoccupation of many, and the completion of a water project in any community is greeted with much zeal. This is what the Nasarawa state government has been focusing on to promote economic, health, and well-being of the people. It was the turn of Wamba local government area to enjoy this fulfilled promise, as Joshua Ojito now tells us.
Wamba local government area may stand out as the home of multi-purpose Farungua waterfalls designed many years ago for tourism, electricity and potable water components. The project told. One of the community members, Sylvester Ubewu, tells me how difficult it is to access water. In tackling the challenges is the new project to provide 118,000 gallons of water daily, so that Sylvester and many others now have a new lease of life. And indeed, for the people of Wamba community in Nasarawa State, who have been without water supply for over 30 years, indeed they have found new lease of life.
I'm overwhelmed. I don't even drink pure water again, because if I drink this one, from my head to my toe, cool.
We are suffering, but now we are feeling comfortable because we get the good water.
This may just be a tip of the iceberg. Just a few weeks ago, the federal government signed an undertaking with Nasarawa State to take over and complement with the development of Farungua Dam for agricultural and water provision to the people. For the people, there may be a strong bond between good governance and culture as they roll out the drums in appreciation of...
I want to assure the people of Wamba and environs that government is working tirelessly to ensure that we leave this community better than we found it. This covers virtually every facet of human endeavor: political, social, economic, educational, and even traditional.
The governor expresses the hope similar projects at Nasarawa Igon, Dedere and upgraded schemes in Lafia, Nasarawa as well as Toto will assist communities address their water needs. From Wamba in Nasarawa State, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Well, to many people, as long as water is colorless and tasteless, it is good for drinking. But how safe really is this? Jennifer Igwe visited a laboratory to ascertain the quality of water considered fit for drinking.
At least to the ordinary eyes, tasteless and colorless, so to the regular person, this water is okay. That is the rule of thumb, but the scary reality is that there are other key determinants of quality of water safe for human consumption.
The chemical nature of the water samples and, of course, the biological nature.
NTA News Extra decided to put some water samples under the microscopic lenses of microbiologists at the University of Lagos. What scientific process are you going to use to determine the quality?
I can do what we call most probable number, analysis on the water samples to be sure that, they do not contain, pathogenic microorganisms that can, pose health challenges to the consumers.
Although these water samples passed the basic test for safe quality, microbiologist Benga Adewumi says further analysis could reveal more. Another worrisome reality and finding is that even if water is certified safe for drinking, storage and transportation pipes to homes and taps could contaminate it.
It must have passed through some different locations. So there is possibility of wear and tear of those pipes at one point or the other. So if such happens, there could be contamination of that water samples by even soil particles.
Yes, sometimes when you have a stoppage in production and the water stop, the pressure is gone down, you can get cross-contamination. In our pipe, we make sure that if there is any leakages or any pipe bursts, we responded to it, we make sure that we isolate that area.
This advice, which has also been recommended by the World Health Organization, is best bet.
Boiling at boiling temperature. Most pathogenic microorganisms that can cause illnesses cannot withstand that condition. So definitely they will die off.
Another key factor is looking out for registration numbers by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
10 years after the $1.25 billion Lagos Light Rail project began in Lagos, work is still in progress. The project, which is supposed to substantially alleviate the transportation challenges in the metropolis, has experienced several delays. Doyin Ogunyemi has been tracking the project.
In sections of Lagos is changing as the Lagos light rail dream gradually crystallizes. These towering piles and others under construction over the Lagos Lagoon, as well as the rail lines being laid, are concrete indications that the project is coming back on track. Started in April 2008, the 27.5-kilometer Blue Line project is to run from Okokomaiko to Marina with a journey time of 35 minutes. 13 stations were to be built under the project that was earlier scheduled to be completed in 2011. However, after about 16 kilometers of rail line have been laid, the project, initially estimated at 70 billion naira, had problems with funding and the completion date had to be revised severally. Some work is now ongoing on the National Theatre to Marina access and includes the boring of piles across the lagoon.
What we've been doing so far is the fixed infrastructure. We are now going proper into what we call operation and maintenance. With the program that we are working with now, presently, I want to tell you it's going to take like the next 3 or 4 years before we can get to passenger operation.
This means that it may take more time to deliver this critical project.
And while
Many Lagos residents are still enthusiastic about its operations and when the project will be completed. They are optimistic that when this is done, it will ease movement of goods and services around Lagos.
When the rail comes in natural fact, it's going to move more people and it's going to ease the pressure on the road by the motorists.
In fact, people are anticipating that with time, this thing, if it's completed, we will also join the countries of the world that have this kind of facilities on ground.
Lagos State hopes to ultimately develop 7 color-coded routes to service the metropolis. It is conceived to be an electronically powered rail mass transit system. The infrastructure for all these does present some challenges, but from the sky, you can see the foundation being laid, with hope that it will pick up more speed. In Lagos, Dotun Ogmiemi, NTA News.
Up ahead, the political arena in the spotlight. Catch up with the action after these messages. Join us.
Organization of Nigeria, SON, brings a new lease of life to Nigeria SMEs. SON has put a greater premium on developing standards to improve made in Nigeria products for export. We have developed more standards for products like sesame, cocoa, gari, and more, courtesy of our accredited state-of-the-art laboratories. In keeping with the federal government's ease of doing business, SON has simplified its processes and turned around time for SUNCAP, MANCAP, and other certification processes. SON has intensified market surveillance, raids, and seizures to reduce substandard products in circulation, and offenders shall be prosecuted. Join SON in ridding our nation of substandard products. If you see something, say something. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving lives through standards.
Now you too can win big in the 2018 3 Crowns Mom of the Year competition. Yes, a trip to Dubai for 3 is up for grabs. Mothers are special. They always go the extra mile for us. And what better way to appreciate them by nominating them for this year's Mom of the Year crown. Write a 100-word story why your mom or nominee should be crowned the 3 Crowns Mom of the Year. Submit your write-up, your nominee's picture with empty packs of 3 Crowns milk products at any collection center near you. Terms and conditions apply.
3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
The Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, His Excellency Babatunde Raji Fashola SAN, invites all state commissioners and permanent secretaries of works, federal and state directors of works, professionals and stakeholders in the road sector to the 24th meeting of the National Council on Works. Theme: Ensuring value for money in Nigerian highways development. Special guest of honor, Executive Governor, Kebbi State, His Excellency Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu. Date: Monday 13th to Friday 17th August 2018. Venue: Conference Center, Kebbi State Government Presidential Lodge, Birnin Kebbi, Kebbi State. Time: 9 a.m. daily. Arrival of delegates and registration: Sunday 12th August 2018. Mohammed Bukar, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
My promise to my child: I am not your friend. I'm your mother. I will stalk you, debate you, and hunt you down if I have to. Because when it comes to protecting you, there's no such thing as too tough. That's why every night, I insist on Baygon Multi-Insect Killer for tough mosquito protection before bedtime. So I know my loved ones can fall asleep protected. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Your favorite Maggi star now wears a new look. Its great taste and quality still remain the same. With Maggi, every woman is a star.
Ogoni Kingdom, a land with tales of oil spillage devastation for decades. Today, the story is changing with soil and groundwater testing, medical outreach, community sensitization, and with all the activities marking the pre-remediation process now complete, the Federal Ministry of Environment and Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, is in top gear to implement the UNEP report through the provision of potable clean water, arable farmlands, livelihood support, public health care, and restoring green vegetation. This is the sound of restoration. Hope is being restored in Ogoniland. For more information on the cleanup process, visit www.highprep.gov.ng or at HighPrep Nigeria for Twitter and HighPrep Nigeria for Facebook.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant. To achieve our creed as we promise, we shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
We're glad to have you back with us on News Extra tonight. And we begin with politics. The leadership of the National Assembly has resolved to reconvene to consider INEC budget for the 2019 general elections. The chairman Senate Committee on INEC, Philip Aduda, stated this after a closed-door meeting of the National Assembly leadership with the INEC chairman. John Yaku has the details.
The joint leadership of the National Assembly expressed their commitment to a successful election come 2019 with a promise to provide the necessary instruments that will make it better than the previous elections.
Very well, over the last few years, we have worked very closely with you to ensure that we raise the standard of our electioneering and electoral processes in this country. Through the process of the electoral bill, through the support we have given at all times.
You are committed to appropriating whatever is needed within the confines of the resources of the nation for INEC to be able to realize this.
Senate Minority Whip Philip Aduda told newsmen after the closed-door meeting that the leadership of the National Assembly will consult members to decide when to reconvene.
Issues we have discussed with them, we have looked at the various situations as it relates to the funding, and we are ready to move Nigeria forward.
We have been reassured by the joint leadership of the National Assembly that this budget will be expeditiously passed, perhaps as early as next week.
A total of 242 billion naira has been proposed for the 2019 general election and security in 6 months to come. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
The All Progressives Party, APC, has caught a big fish in the flowing waters of Nigerian politics. Now, how fast do I have to tell you who the big catch is? Former Senate Minority Leader Godswill Akpabio, who moved from the opposition PDP to the governing party, APC. He was received alongside thousands of his supporters by the leadership of the APC at a colorful ceremony at Ikotekpene Township Stadium. Political correspondent Saliu Abdullahi monitored the event and filed this report.
Ready to sweep away misery, ready to sweep away killing. Can you say aye?
An elated Godswill Akpabio before thousands of APC faithful, national leadership of the party, members of the legislative and executive arms of government who converged on Ikotekpene in solidarity with the party and the bond between Godswill Akpabio and his people who have decided to join the Progressives family. Acting President, represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, called on the people of the South Zone to embrace APC and support the progressive ideology of President Muhammadu Buhari, whose visionary leadership will provide prosperity and all-round development for the country.
Yes. And with Akwa Ibom coming on board, things will change around and turn around for the better in the Niger Delta region. I want to thank you and appeal to you to be ambassadors of this change as you return to your various homes and communities. This is the only way we can set a foundation for the development and the growth of democracy in this country.
National leader of the party, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, says successes of the Buhari-led administration, cutting across infrastructural development, education, and the economy in the past 3 years are a manifest content of the determination and commitment of the governing party to improve the lot of Nigerians.
It's not ordinary talent that developed a nation. Its character, its reliability, its integrity, its commitment.
National chairman of APC, Comrade Adams Oshomole, urged the people of Akwa Ibom and the South Zone to accept APC as a dependable political party that will take Nigeria to the promised land and align them with government at the center.
So, Akpabio, you have rekindled the spirit. Now I want to talk like we. You have shown that we in the South, that we can be different where it matters. And we can stand up and be counted.
He has always considered the national interest first. And therefore, what he did was meaningful opposition to what we do in this country. He is always conscious of the fact that we need stability, we need unity, we need to stay together in peace.
The man of the moment, Godswill Akpabio, used the opportunity the event provided to give reasons as to why he joined APC.
I would like to be a conspirator who joins hands to conspire to bring peace to Benue State. I would like to be a conspirator who joins hands to conspire to stop the killings in our dear country. I would like to be a conspirator who join hands to ensure full employment for our children, who brings food to the table of Nigerians, who brings about uncommon transformation of Nigeria.
The event, which witnessed the defection of other PDP members to APC, was well attended by APC supporters from across the country, including the Ministers of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, and that of Budget and National Planning, Edo State Governor, as well as members of the APC Caucus at the National Assembly. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
An abridged version of the APC mega rally in Ikotekbene, Akwa Ibom State, where Senator Akpabio led thousands into the APC, will be retransmitted tonight, immediately after the news telecast by 10:30 p.m. And as political activities towards 2019 general elections continue to gather momentum, a 21 sensitization committee for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari and other APC candidates from the North Central Zone has been inaugurated. The committee was unveiled at the instance of the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Political Affairs in Abuja. Fatima Aliyu was there and now reports.
The guardian of APC stalwarts and other party faithful from the 6 states of the North Central Zone who took turn to give account of President Muhammadu Buhari's developmental strides in their respective states.
I will go for Buhari because Buhari wants to complete the duration of River Niger.
With all the president has been doing, particularly the issue of Dakuta Steel Company, I think by the time we are able to achieve that, it will give room to we, the North Central, to have no reason than to re-elect Mr. President.
Mr. President has set a road map revamping the oil sector and creating so many opportunities.
The committee is saddled with the responsibility of sensitizing the people of the zone on the need to give President Muhammadu Buhari their mandate in the 2019 general elections to further consolidate on the achievements of the APC-led administration. The APC stalwart maintained that, in spite of pockets of challenges, the party has recorded modest successes in the 3 major areas it promised Nigerians during the campaign period in 2015.
That is security, fighting corruption, and the economy. And you yourself will agree that so far we have been able to get Boko Haram people in one place, and Sambisa is now a military garrison.
President Buhari
came in as a divine project of God. And God doesn't have an abandoned project.
The 20-man committee had Williams Oziraji as its chairman, while Afsat Mohammed will serve as its secretary. In Abuja, Fatima Aliu, NTA News.
And as agitations by youths for political space in the nation's electioneering process continues, political parties have been challenged to provide an enabling platform for the younger generation to participate in politics. With this in mind, leaders of the All Progressives Congress Party, while receiving the Not Too Young to Run movement, assured the use of special concessions for optimal participation during the 2019 general elections. Justin Bem has the details of that report.
Youths across the country took to the streets to drive home their demand on the operationalization of the Not Too Young to Run bill, signed into law by President Buhari on May 31st, 2018. These young men, drawn from 45 different organizations, stormed secretariats of political parties seeking declaration by the parties on youth candidacy and party nomination. The group is advocating that political parties reserve tickets for youths, reduce nomination fees, and hold democratic party primaries.
And we've sent a strong message to the parties. If you impose candidates, if you don't give tickets to young people, if you don't reduce the cost for running for office, be rest assured that young people are going to vote against you.
And for us, we're saying, no more money politics. We're going to use competence, credibility, character to decide who runs Nigeria.
At the Secretariat of the governing All Progressives Congress in Abuja, the party assured the youth that it has the ordinary Nigerian at heart, hence the decision by the leadership to give youth opportunity to participate in politics.
Majority of Nigerians are under the age brackets of what you can term as the youth. Any nation that discards the youth in doing so at its own peril. The only issue that I will convey to members of the National Working Committee and the neck of our party has to do with the nomination form. But as far as the remaining two, already that has been taken care of. I want to assure you that your complaints, your demands will definitely be looked into positively.
The group acknowledged that democracy is about inclusion, and they will mobilize registered young voters to vote for parties that accede to their demands and uphold the principles of transparency, inclusion, and accountability in their candidate selection process. Justin Bem Unyi, NTA News.
In the meantime, the wife of the president, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has urged the new leadership of the women's wing of the All Progressives Congress to be more proactive and stick to the ideals of the party to enhance more participation of women in politics and governance.
Mrs. Buhari was speaking when she granted audience of the newly elected women leaders of the APC at both the national, zonal, and state levels. She also emphasized the need for strict adherence to the party ideology to ensure good governance and progress.
I would also like to seek a support from the APC government to please operate within the guidelines of the Constitution, to see the party as supreme, and also to revisit our reward system. The 35% affirmative action should be implemented, please. Nepotism should be rejected in totality. Let me use this opportunity to urge women, especially young generations, the ladies that are here today, to join politics and take over as many political offices as possible.
Owing to the alleged unholy alliance by the African Democratic Party, ADC, with the Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP, a splinter group, the new ADC has emerged. Timothy Yusuf tells us more.
The split is coming 3 months after former President Obasanjo's coalition of Nigeria movement merged with the ADC. At a news conference in Abuja, Pro-Tem National Chairman of the new ADC, Chief Precious Elekima, said the group pulled out because the ADC leadership joined the Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP, without consulting stakeholders.
We have seen that from the fact that we never discussed it, look, if they call us for a meeting and we disagreed and they went on, it would have been a different matter. But the impunity with which no consent, no information, we cannot mortgage this country any longer.
He said by joining the Coalition of United Political Parties, the ADC has jettisoned the clarion call for the rejection of the PDP. Hence, they decided to break away so as to keep alive the mission to free Nigeria from backwardness. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
Well, after the scenario that played out at the National Assembly on Tuesday, guests on Good Morning Nigeria commended the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, for taking the decisive action that doused tension at the National Assembly. Kule Adeyeye has more on that.
On Tuesday this week, lawmakers at the National Assembly made an attempt to reconvene for some urgent national issues, but were denied access into the chambers by the operatives of the Department of State Services. One of the guests said the arms of government should protect the country's democracy by embracing acts that will not contravene democratic civility.
For the executive branch of government, I think we must commend the acting president for taking this step. The wording of the statement that was issued from the office of the acting president, this is completely incompatible with the rule of law, constitutional order, and all notions of law and order. These were the words used in the statement issued from the office of the vice president. And it shows you how the man feels about this.
A political scientist advised the National Assembly members to still go ahead and reconvene in the interest of Nigeria. He said many matters are pending before the lawmakers.
The leadership of the National Assembly ought to have been more careful, ought to have taken the overall interest of the Nigerian state and the Nigerian people into consideration in whatever they do. It was very clear that the way the research was pronounced was abrupt. And I think it was to save the neck, so to say, of the principal officers of the National Assembly.
The guests, however, called for further investigation into the matter. In Abuja, Kunle Adeyeye, NTA News.
And it was a show of a synergy of passion between Buhari Support Group Center and the visiting youth groups as they converged to foster a coalition. The gathering is against those they describe as common enemies who are bent on sabotaging the efforts of President Muhammadu Buhari and his cabinet. Debola Brooksland Sunday was there and our reports.
The groups are from Kaduna, Kogi and Cross River states. After a brief interaction, the Director General of the Center, Umaru Dembo, urged the youths to resist any plan of being used as political thugs.
I wish to congratulate and praise the decisions of our young men and women to focus that if he is elected for a second term, Nigeria will be a showpiece to the world.
The youth now have come to take over because they have discovered the moral content that President Buhari has initiated, has presented, is what will save the country.
The youth leaders say they are in the Buhari Support Group Center to express their gratitude for how far Mr. President has been able to protect what belongs to them.
We have over 10,000 women who are now doing by themselves, which before they hardly have a food on their tables.
Mr. President is one president I know that is ready to take the country to the next height, or our desired height we have been expecting and praying for.
We have seen the country, everything has come to normal. We are seeing stability in every aspect of our lives, and we believe there are more to come. Mr. President is ready to deliver to the masses.
Looked at what Mr. President has put on ground holistically in terms of the economy and in terms of anti-corruption, I believe strongly that the future that he's trying to protect is ours.
Statistics show that about 60% of Nigeria's estimated 198 million population is made up of youths. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Following Tuesday's events at the National Assembly, Senate President Bukola Saraki has commended the immediate response by the acting President Yemi Osinbajo to the situation, expressing the need for the entrenchment of the rule of law. National Assembly correspondent Omotola Omojola reports that the Senate President addressed the media at the National Assembly lobby.
Senator Saraki, who appreciated Nigerians, the media and his colleagues for defending the sanctity of the National Assembly, was also full of praise for the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, for his prompt handling of the situation.
His decisive action went a long way, restoring confidence and the image of our country. It sent a powerful message.
He called for a full investigation into Tuesday's event at the National Assembly and emphasized that the legislature will always work to uphold Nigeria's democracy.
We stand committed in doing our utmost as lawmakers to ensure that the responsibility and functionality of government are met.
Speaker House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara joined the Senate President for the news conference. From the National Assembly, Omotola Omojola, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress APC Caucus at the House of Representatives says the presidency has done what needed to be done concerning the siege of the National Assembly by the Department of State Security. A statement from the House leader, Femi Gbajabiamila, on behalf of the APC Caucus, however, pointed out the need to tarry for a while until investigations are completed and facts of what actually happened emerged. The caucus stresses the barricade must be condemned by all lovers of democracy. In spite of the seeming apathy in the ongoing continuous voters registration exercise, particularly in the southeast zone, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC Ebonyi State says it targets a total of 2 million registered voters in the state for the 2019 general elections. Uche Chukwu Chibweze Idam reports on the exercise in the state.
Shows that the voting strength of Ebonyi State stood at 1,074,273 at the last general election. Having opened another window of opportunity by the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC with the reviewed form of registration exercise which seeks to make more accessible and easier the capturing of eligible voters not yet registered, resolving issues surrounding transfers lost and defaced permanent voter cards, among others. One expects impressive record in the continuous voter registration exercise in the state. But that was not to be until recently when the exercise witnessed a surge.
So throughout last year we got only 71,000 thereabout, but for 3 months of this year, the first quarter, we got 60,279.
Right.
So altogether, in the last 2 months, in the second quarter, which we started on the 24th of April, to date, you can't imagine we've recorded 197,730.
Aside interventions by the government, collaborations with stakeholders to mobilize, sensitize, and getting the people's trust with increased number of direct data capturing machines are additional measures applied by the Commission to get positive response from the masses.
It's time for stakeholders to support their local settings, mobilize our people, educate them, tell them the importance of this.
In fact, they provide everything here, the generator, the fuel. So the only thing we'll do is to bring out our people.
As I come, the thing I witnessed is fine.
The commission, which emphasized its zero tolerance for double and underage registration, however, observed very minor challenge using the direct data capturing machines.
I'm not looking at you, if you're not up to 18 years, we ask you to go and bring your birth certificate.
Over 269,000 persons have so far been registered in the exercise. In Abakaliki, Uche Chukwu Chibweze Idam, NTA News.
In the meantime, legal battle arising from the governorship election in Ekiti State has commenced with the filing of petition and granting of motion ex parte to both petitioners and respondents. Ayodeji Ogunsaki reports that the election won by Dr. Kayode Fayemi of the All Progressives Congress APC is being challenged by the People's Democratic Party PDP.
The PDP governorship candidate, Professor Olushola Eleka, in company of his running mate Ayodeji Ogunsaki, the state chairman of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Boyega Oguntoashi, and the legal team led by Shola Olanipekun, a senior advocate of Nigeria, submitted the 700-page petition which has the main prayer that he be declared winner of the election. Professor Eleka premised his prayer on the ground that the election result was allegedly manipulated in favor of his opponent, Dr. Kayode Fayemi of the All Progressive Congress (APC), alleging irregularities, ballot stuffing, and falsification of results.
What I'm asking for is that I be declared as the winner of that election.
The All Progressive Congress in the state said it is taking necessary steps on the petition.
We are ready with the team of our lawyers to listen and defend our own aspect of the petition.
Meanwhile, the tribunal led by Justice Suleiman Begori has granted the petitioners and the respondents motion ex parte to assess the election materials in the custody of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). In Ado-Ekiti, Ayodeji Ogunsaki, NTA News.
Let's take another break, but be there to catch up with, in our part 2, rice smuggling series from the Lagos Axis, plus TED-fund efforts to shore up the world ranking of Nigerian universities. Don't go away.
Your perfect family is under threat by germs. Infectious diseases are now the world's biggest killer of adults and children. Every day, 16,000 children under the ages of 5 and thousands of adults die from infectious diseases. These infectious diseases are caused by germs. They are everywhere. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily in unclean water, dirty surfaces, in the toilets, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes. Germs can cause deadly diseases like typhoid, diarrhea, flu, and cough. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's One Capful for surface cleaning in your bathing water, in your laundry water, for first aid to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol Sure, endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Use Dettol Skin Jelly, which protects against germs for a healthy, smooth skin every day.
If you don't get money, hide your face. You can call me small doctor. Omo ya teacher. What's it got penalty or throwing?
The smartphone network.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Thank you for rejoining us. This is News Extra, reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. In part 3 of News Extra, we begin with business news. Nigeria's hospitality industry woos investors, plus external reserves dropped by more than $200 million. Chukunonso Nwabueze has details of this and more on our business news segment.
Hello and a warm welcome to Business News. With Nigeria as the #1 investment destination in Africa in terms of hotel development, Director General of National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, NIHOTOA, Chika Balogun, has urged both local and foreign investors to tap into the huge benefits in the country's tourism sector. She said that with the enabling business environment being created by the present administration, investors have a better opportunity of making profits from their investment.
The president is constantly speaking about the values inherent in tourism. So this government is particularly doing very well. Lai Mohammed is currently the vice president of the UNWTO, and that's the Honorable Minister for Information and Culture. And that's about the highest any person in Africa has gotten to. That shows you that we're serious about tourism in Nigeria, but we must all work together holistically. The NTDC is also doing a good job with marketing and promotion of tourism, and I'm sure that in the next 5 years we'd all look back and be very happy. So I encourage people to get in now.
Meanwhile, latest data by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, indicates that the nation's external reserves dropped below $47 billion, losing $251 million in the first 6 days in the month of August 2018. The reserves, which stood at $47.11 billion as of July 31st, 2018, fell to $46.868 billion on August 6th, the lowest level in nearly 4 months. And the equities market for 3 consecutive days closed on a negative note, with the all-share index depreciating by minus 0.09% to close at 36,299.82 basis points in 2,610 deals, valued at more than 700 billion naira. Financial services sector was the most patronized, with the United Bank for Africa topping the charts. That's the package at this time. I am Chukunonso Nwabueze. Thanks for being there.
You're welcome back. Now, the federal government has been concerned about the smuggling of rice into the country, with the Minister of Agriculture, Audu Ogbe, warning that the government will introduce stringent measures. Correspondent Jennifer Igwe reports on the situation in Lagos.
The Controller, Federal Operations Unit Zone A, Ikeja, Lagos, Mohammed Uba, stands on top of a mountain of rice impounded from smugglers. It is a reflection of the heights the problem has attained. In this warehouse alone, these are about 34,000 bags of seized imported rice. This is yet another store filled with seized rice, so full that it is spilling out. The seizures were made from smugglers on the roads and creeks who had already succeeded in bringing them into the country. The ploys they use keep changing, such as this case where the crates of drinks the truck seems to be carrying turned out to be concealed rice. Ironically, while concern is rising about smuggling, the controller says from the statistics of seizures, there is a downward trend.
The report of this year, January to June, even if you double over 34,000, it's going to be about 70,000 bags of rice. Comparatively, last year, over 120 bags of rice. If you look at it, meaning that the smuggling of rice is on the decrease.
Smuggled rice inevitably ends up in markets, and Lagos markets are filled with imported rice.
Everything comes from the customs. Our problem is customs. They smuggle it in, which is not good, but we have no choice.
Officers have been dismissed, some have been demoted, some have been suspended in connection with various offenses. It might be including the offense of rice. The moment you are found you are bad egg, you'll be dismissed. So if there is any information, like the trader, every person is free to tell us.
What percentage of this is legally imported or smuggled is difficult to figure out, but they continue to fight for market share with locally produced rice. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
To the education sector now. Stakeholders in the Nigerian education sector must brace for the huge competition among universities in the world. At the moment, the best Nigerian university is ranked 103 in the global ranking standard. Yes, this is according to the overall Times Higher Education World University ranking for the year 2018. Good enough, however, the federal government, through the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, is leading the way out. Let us hear more from Ado Adamu also, just back from the University of Ibadan, where projects executed by the fund were inaugurated.
Nigeria currently has 152 universities approved by the National Universities Commission, with 40 owned by the federal government, 44 state governments, and 68 privately owned. Out of the number, the overall best university, University of Ibadan, is ranked number 1032 in the world in 2008, according to the leading world ranking body. Worried by this global challenge, the Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Abdullahi Bichi Bafa, is advocating for a collective effort to improve the situation. On the part of that fund, he says practical steps are being taken to address the key areas under her mandate.
In some rankings, Nigerian universities are not even there. We believe that the drivers that are going to drive the provision of quality are the teachers. If the teachers are well trained, if the teachers are well motivated, if the teachers are properly, their welfare is properly taken care of, we believe that their capacity to deliver quality service will be raised.
The Ibadan University management is not relenting but needs more funding, especially in revitalizing her old structures that are mostly 70 years old.
University of Ibadan, because of its age, we have a number of aging facilities, aging infrastructural structures that will also be a challenge even to be able to maintain it on one and also to be able to update it and upgrade it.
The projects inaugurated include an auditorium for the Faculty of Pharmacy, lecture theatre hall for the Faculty of Science, seminar rooms, offices, and academic blocks.
The federal government leading the way, asking all stakeholders in the education sector to follow suit so that the much needed transformation in the sector, as is promised by the Buhari administration, is achieved in Ibadan.
Well, the best Nigerian university is ranked 1032, not 103 as earlier mentioned. Now, every year, Nigerian universities produce about 15,000 engineers. Records have it that less than 5,000 of them are employed by engineering firms. To change the idea of engineering graduates searching for white-collar jobs, the Committee of Deans of Engineering and Technology of Nigeria is equipping them towards self-employment. Debola Brooklyn Sunday will tell us how the deans are doing this.
It was a long journey for these young engineers to get to the final stage.
It also acts as a source of light energy.
They took turns to explain the methodology of the design and construction of their projects, ranging from power to security and health.
It's just that a winner has to emerge.
Organizers believe that, apart from helping them become self-reliant, they will also become employers of labor.
I'll have a dream or dreams and begin to pursue that. Then the other part is that stop thinking of getting employed. If you are a salary earner, you will eat, you will own a house, you will live, but you won't go beyond there.
The upcoming engineers should know that there is a place for them in this country. We have so many problems seeking for who to solve those problems, and they are the one we're looking up to.
If the country is not industrialized, we cannot move forward. And the first step we need to take is what the students are doing now.
From wherever you are at any time, you can confidently decide the device you want to be on at your home.
Best engineering project.
To show how much premium was placed on the competition, Winners were announced at the 2018 Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, Current Assembly.
My product is a 3-in-1 product. It gives fragrance, it repels insects, and it also acts as lightning.
The competition, which is third in the series, is aimed at improving local designs and engineering fittings in the Nigerian society for national development. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Mechanisms to inject efficiency and professionalism in the nation's public service are being intensified towards establishing the Chartered Institute of Public Administration in Nigeria. To this end, a public hearing has been held by the House of Representatives Committee on Banking and Currency to collate contributions to fine-tune the law. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has more.
Technocrats from the Federal Ministry of Finance, Central Bank of Nigeria, Institute of Public Administration, as well as other government and private agencies converged to make inputs on the bill, which when passed and signed into law will stop the sharp practices witnessed in administrative procedure in the conduct of government and private businesses. Speaker, House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara, in a message, restated commitments of the National Assembly to ensuring the rule of law as well as effective service delivery to citizens.
This bill is very significant to the country in our yearnings for improved leadership, particularly in our public sector.
Chairman of the House Committee on Banking and Currency, Representative Jones Onyiriri, said human capital development is essential for the growth of society, which is why the lawmakers want to improve standards through the application of necessary laws for administrative supervision.
The Institute will be charged with the responsibility of promoting the exchange of professional ideas and information, formulating the standards of competence and conduct, as well as exercise discipline to uphold the highest ethical standards amongst members.
From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
We will visit the foreign land to share with you certain aspects of their way of life. If you miss this, you miss out. We'll be right back.
Brought us as usual.
As usual. You have no problem.
For the three
you are welcome, sir.
As usual, yeah?
Welcome,
You take that one.
Yeah, take that one.
You don't understand? We want Nigeria homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have? You don't have?
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice. Are you sorry? That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. Momo to come to chocolate rice of made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made. Correct. Now they are cook it. Correct. Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Here's to the dreamers, the doers, the ones who feel everything but fear nothing. To those who stride with courage in their hearts and victory in their souls. Here's to you. Here's to progress. Your progress. Keep walking.
You're still on to News Extra. Now, Nigeria's major export, the Nollywood, is getting accolades and support from the global creative and innovation industry. This is part of the gains from Vice President Yemi Osinbajo's recent visit to the United States of America. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria drew attention to these gains as we hear from Kule Adeyeye.
The primary aim of the delegation to the roadshow in the United States was to attract investors to Nigeria The guests described the gains as the boost required to grow the entertainment, technology and creative industries in Nigeria. They drew attention to the evolving nature of the country's technology sector, adding that the positive developments will help create more.
It was a breath of fresh air because this is something that we have been working on for years and wishing and hoping that Silicon Valley be factored into the whole system of what needs to happen.
One of the key pieces really was giving foreign investors, especially large fund managers, billion-dollar funds who were gathered, a window into why Nigeria remains a great investment destination, and also give the government officials an opportunity to hear from these investors about what their biggest concerns were.
Senior Special Assistant to the President on ICT, Olariwaju Oshibono, said government is cashing in on the impact of the roadshow through the provision of funds for private sectors in Nigeria and incentives such as tax holidays for investors.
There's a need for capacity, there's a need for competence, there's a need for skilled workforce. So as we're connecting all these dots, this helps to put in place the necessary investment and the return on investment.
The advisory role of the private sector was also described as a positive development that will bring all issues needing attention to the fore to enhance the country's technology, entertainment and innovation industry. In Abuja, Kunle Adeyeye, NTA News.
Now, pedestrian and motor vehicle accidents are no doubt a serious challenge world over, especially in the developing nations. And to a large extent, it is attributed to lack of adherence to traffic regulations by both drivers and pedestrians. In this special report, Debola Brookston Sunday takes a look at how the system works in Singapore in relation to Nigeria with a view to tackling the challenges in the country.
Singapore, with a population of about 5.6 million people, gained independence in 1965. One fascinating thing about the Singaporeans is their orderliness and respect for the rule of law.
So it's not just something that started happening automatically. There are laws and there are enforcement of laws and people get adopted to it, and over time you find that they've accustomed themselves to it.
In the course of our journey through the city, we saw many road signs which people obey to letter. Imagine how calmly I'm walking, obviously for two major reasons. The fact that I have the patience to wait and that drivers here obey traffic rules and regulations. Back home in Nigeria, however, experience shows that most drivers do not obey traffic rules and regulations, and neither do they pay attention to road signs.
And that is what we look out for on the road. That is the basic aspect of our job. It's not about the vehicle particulars, it's not about your driver license, but the condition of the vehicle itself. If we are not able to buy new vehicles, we should be able to maintain the ones we have.
The Federal Road Safety Corps in 2016 recorded about 8,000 deaths caused by road accidents, with about 24,000 victims injured.
And that is why we are amping on public education to let people realize that you have every right to stop that driver before he kills you. You have every right not to even kill yourself. You don't have to drink and drive. You don't have to hug your phone while driving. You have to use your seatbelt. A lot of human factors.
Statistics show that about 6,000 pedestrians lost their lives in 2017.
If I'm on top of that bridge, by looking down, it's as if I want to fall. Do you understand? So I have fear. So I prefer to stand anytime that the road is free.
The failure to use the pedestrian bridges and zebra crossing on the Nigerian roads have resulted in loss of many lives. As a road user, I have made up my mind to obey to the fullest traffic rules and regulations. My wish is to have others join me in this line of thoughts. Adebola Brookston Sunday, NTA News.
Thank you, Adebola. Now, although the World Cup has come and gone, but some exciting memories cannot just go away. One of such is the communication or language challenge. Gabriel Odu recalls some of those moments when communicating in English could not just work, except Russian, using an Android phone.
What does it take to communicate here? How are you finding it?
I got a culture shocked when I entered Moscow, because you found out that even the alphabet and ratings on signboard is in their language, and the alphabet which I cannot read. But with Google Translate, it has been easy to communicate, because it translates it from English to their language here, and I think that has really helped.
It was indeed a difficult time using English to get feedback, get a taxi, go to the mall, or even buy a drink.
Let us see how it plays out again with this conversation between a Russian and a Nigerian using mobile telephone.
В 9 часов я приеду, я вас заберу. Торговый центр, прогуляетесь.
You take me to the mall by 9 o'clock tomorrow, 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Все, я вас завтра отвезу утром. И прогуляетесь, потом я вас обратно привезу.
Okay, tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Is it a deal? No failing.
Хорошо, хорошо.
All right, thank you very much.
Driving through the city of Moscow, a beautiful experience, but no one to share with, because even the driver could not speak English. Perhaps that is why some people say Russians are hostile and unfriendly, but Nigerian ambassador to Russia said it is stereotyping.
Come and see Russia. It debunks all the myths about Russia, all the rumors you've heard about Russia. Come and see for yourselves. So I encourage Nigerian businessmen to come and explore Russia. I encourage visitors to come and visit Russia. Tourists, Nigerian tourists, to come and visit Russia.
That was the Moscow experience. We need to be proficient in more than one language to compete globally. Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
Many thanks, Gabriel. The Counseling Association of Nigeria, CASON, says the prevailing challenges in the country require citizens to seek counseling in their various endeavors for proper guidance. President of the association, Professor Elizabeth Egbochukwu, gave the advice during the 43rd Annual International Conference of the association in Abuja. Hadiza Godwin-Ebune was there and now reports.
The theme, Counseling for Social Transformation and National Healing. Counseling experts present are of the opinion that Nigerians have no value for counselors, as a result wander in the dark even when guidance is just a stone throw. In a keynote speech, Professor Josiah Ajiboye, Registrar and CEO Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, says Nigerians in one way or other have suffered some forms of traumatic experiences that require immediate counseling attention.
Definitely, if you look at our country today, there's no time. If there's any time that we need the counselors, I think it is now.
The only way to go, therefore, is to provide what we call national healing. That national healing can be facilitated by counselors and people in related professions, psychologists and others.
President of the association, Professor Elizabeth Egbochukwu, expressed that the significance of counseling in productivity and developing a nation direction towards growth and development cannot be overemphasized.
As counselors, we want to heal our nation. And by doing that, we have to train our counselors to get the skills to be able to help recover our country the way it used to be.
Participants at the conference are confident that when the bill professionalizing counseling is passed by the National Assembly, Nigerians will be better served.
Counseling is a helping profession, and it's a profession that can help people come out of their trauma, come out of their whatever state that is not comfortable.
Counseling is very important in everybody's life. In families, in children's lives, in marital life, counseling is very important because we help you we provide solutions to challenges.
The week-long 43rd International Conference of Counseling Association of Nigeria ends on Friday, the 10th of August, 2018. Hadiza Godwin-Ebune, NTA News.
World News Extra is about to wind down, but we still have sports and the weather report. Join us again.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just my advice.
Even now, sir, they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy. May they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Here's to the dreamers, the doers, the ones who feel everything but fear nothing. To those who stride with courage in their hearts and victory in their souls, here's to you. Here's to progress. Your progress. Keep walking.
You're welcome back. And now sports. Do you remember the football days of Shegun, the mathematical Odegbami, Headmaster Mitiu Adekboju, Kanu Papilo, Wanko, JJ Okocha, the late Rashidi Ekini, sports legends like Mary Onyali, Atanda Musa, and many more that you probably can't remember? They are crusader champions in the sports arena. Yes, Nigeria's sports industry was characterized by poise and doggedness that translated into laurels and medals. This is the era sports lovers say must be revived. Thankfully, government too is forging ahead. The agenda is for the common good of the national interest and placing sports at an enviable position. It's over now to Talatu Eziri.